I'm Gavin. You're watching Red Hen Racing. And this is my ND Miata. Nailed it. If you've been around the channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm really good at taking a perfectly good car and making it into not that. I just gotta fuck with it. I can't leave nothing alone, you know? And for the most part, I think we've done a really good job on this car, but there's a few things that get on my nerves. The first thing that's most obvious every time you drive this car is this shifter. This is a CAE Ultra shifter, super sharp, crisp. Look at that. That's from 5th to 2nd right there. It's amazing. But it's got one big drawback, and I want to address it first because it's probably going to be annoying throughout this video. Hold on, let me move my mic. At any kind of enthusiastic RPM, the motherfucker rattles a lot. And I've gotten used to it. Like, I'm in this car a lot as a daily driver. The time that it actually most bothers me is when I'm editing videos and I can hear it in the audio. For example, if you look back at the video I did on the tune that we're running, which we'll talk about in a minute, I felt bad during the edit because I could like barely hear engine noise over the shifter. I guess it's a matter of different microphones picking it up differently, but I thought it would get old more than it actually did. It's not that bad, but it is a thing that people notice when they get in here, and it pisses me off in edit. Another thing that you're likely to notice if you drive this literally anywhere is the e-brake. This doesn't do anything, like, at all. Look at that. I'm running 78 right now, and that don't do nothing. It barely acts as a parking brake on even the flattest of slopes. We're running a Willwood little big brake kit from Flying Miata all the way around on this car. Excellent brake kit. Responsiveness is just absurd. I love it. And they're part of why this car is able to be so competitive on course. I've had plenty of other instructors and more experienced drivers take this car around, and one thing they always mention is the brakes, because they are really, really fucking good. But, damn, that's right. But these Willwood calipers do not very well accommodate the e-brake cable. They tried. There is a place to put it.
Had to pull the e-brake cable so that we could slip this little clip in.
It tries to pull, I guess, but it doesn't do anything. So I actually have this little bit of Velcro strap here to keep tension on it, because without that, this will bounce around every time you hit a bump on the highway, and the car sees that as you applying brake, and it cuts out your cruise control.
Fast as fuck, boy.
So, damn, RAV4, you got somewhere to be. It's just another one of those things that I've learned to live with, and I leave it parked in gear whenever I park it. We just do that. Speaking of parking it, I actually don't know how to make that a smooth transition. Maybe I'll just... What? The tune that we're running from Clear Motorsport is excellent. I haven't dynoed it, but the last dyno that we did do on this car put it at 172 over the 151 stock, and that was just from headers and a base map. After working with Adam over at Clear Motorsport to get this thing really dialed in, we did a really thorough back-to-back test of all of the different maps that I've ever run from Fab 9, Versatuner, and then Clear Motorsport. And this is the one. Adam over at Clear Motorsport absolutely is the best at getting every bit of power out of these things. We don't have a dyno number, but in our testing, we did back-to-back actual, you know, real-world acceleration tests. And hands down, this was the most dramatic improvement in a tune that I've ever seen on a naturally aspirated car. And running in the street touring class like I do, where you're not allowed a lot of engine modifications, being able to sneak some power in there through one of the few allowed things is fucking nice, man. This thing pulls much better than any other ND I've ever ridden in, and I've ridden along in at least 3 others at this point, so. However, I daily drive like almost 1,000 miles a week for work, and this is my main daily. We see a little bit of a gas mileage cut. Stock, I was getting somewhere around 42, 43, no problem. I haven't broken 40 again, ever. The Fab 9 tunes got stock gas mileage because they were also stock power and didn't change like literally anything noticeable. No measurable results from them, including gas mileage. So it just might as well have not even been tuned. The VersaTuner base map that we ran did add a little bit of spice in combination with headers, did get us up to that 172 at the wheels. So the VersaTuner base map did stuff, but it had a significant impact on gas mileage. I typically got somewhere between 33 and 35 on that. And when Clear Motorsport dialed this thing in and actually got a good bit of power out of it, I immediately also saw an increase back up to somewhere around 38 miles a gallon. So it's not quite as good as stock, but not fucking bad. And people typically don't buy these for the gas mileage anyway. I mean, it is my favorite commuter, but stressing over it missing like 4 miles a gallon is not the point of this car.
You're right, of course.
One of the biggest inconveniences that I've created for myself is these 3-piece sway bars. These are an excellent design from an engineering standpoint and performance-wise. Super adjustable. You can adjust them at the track in a matter of seconds. They are specifically designed for you to be able to reach up behind the wheel and adjust your sway bar stiffness in between heats, like without needing to remove the wheel or even jack the car up. And it's an excellent design. However, these extra connecting points create extra opportunity for things to not stay connected. At one point last season, I noticed that the car was handling a little fucky, had a bit more body roll than it should have. The car does well, but also has some angry noises. Lots of rubbing and grinding. And also a particular front end jangle we've just neglected to diagnose. When I took off the front wheels to see what was up, I found that, well, let me show you. You wouldn't have seen this if you're not a member of the pit crew. Obligatory pit crew mention if you want to support the channel. But basically one of the arms just fell off and was vibing, hanging out in the wheel well. So my sway bar was essentially disconnected for a couple of events before I really figured out that something was going on. How has this happened? And of course that's my error. I probably didn't torque something correctly. Somebody put these on here with an impact?
Flashback.
Because of who I am as a person, I'm not one to pull up torque specs and like check things like that. So 100% my fault. But that is a potential issue that I've introduced for myself. And that's a thing that I have to check now every time the wheels come off as just a preventative check kind of thing. We check torque on everything related to the sway bar and hasn't been a problem again. But now that we know it can be a problem, we have to worry about it. We have to worry. We have to worry because what if it does? And the last thing that's just kind of an annoyance is all these lights on the dash. I haven't created any check engine error light type things, except for when I was running the header with no tune before we flashed it to fix the check engine light. Because these, whatever. I did create one with the headers once, but we deleted that. It's fixed. There's no check engine light. It's just between the traction control and the lane departure that I leave off, creating an extra light on the dash for no fucking reason. And then the TPMS light, because I have like 6 sets of wheels for this car and I don't bother putting sensors in every set. I just live with a TPMS light. The thing that's actually really annoying is the 2 light lights. That's what I've started calling them. I don't know what they may actually be called. I call them the light lights because they're indicating, it's a light to indicate that your light is mad. The reason that those are on is because when the sway bar disconnected and allowed extra body roll at the track, I not only rubbed through my fender liners, but I also rubbed through the back of the headlight housing. Isn't that neat? Wow. That allowed water to get in there and I guess angered the motors that make the headlights swivel when you turn the wheel. That's my best guess, because those motors don't do that anymore. The headlights just point like a normal person. I'm assuming that that's what these two lights are mad about. And it's just kind of annoying. We just kind of live with it. But you know, if these are the 5 biggest flaws that I can find with this car, and I'm still willing to spend like 20 hours a week in this car, you know, they can't be too bad. You know, these flaws are self-inflicted, part of the game, baby. But it's still totally daily drivable, unlike some other cars that I've gone too far with and made them really annoying to drive. And I think that's my favorite thing about running in STR, the Street Touring Class Autocross, that this car is pretty well dominant in locally, not to brag or anything. It doesn't allow for a whole lot of crazy stuff. There's basically no body modifications allowed, so you haven't fucked with all of that and have to worry about a diffuser and a splitter that you're going to drag every time you pull into the car wash. You're not allowed to tap into the engine and mess with anything, so you don't really create any extra reliability issues engine-wise. You're not allowed to do hardly any weight reduction, so I still have a full interior with Grand Touring accommodations. It's still a nice place to be, and I wish that for you. I wish for you to have a car that you absolutely love inside and out, and that it's a nice place to be, and that you appreciate it for what it is. And if it can put a smiley face on your heart and also bring home some trophies, you're doing a good job. If you want to keep posted on what else we do with this car and all of our other dumb cars, I don't know if you know this, but we got a couple of dumb cars around, feel free to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. I actually won't charge you this time. Leave me a comment. Let me know what the most annoying thing is about your car. I'm actually legally obligated to respond to every comment, so, you know, get in there. And I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Ay, go fast.